Hey friends, so today's video is going to be an anti-haul because we need it right now, don't we? We really need it. Mainly because you guys have been asking for one since I uploaded my last one, but I haven't uploaded one in like 2 months. Like, it's been 2 months. I was doing them like once a month for a while and I'm like, what? I need a new one. Also, I realized in my last video, my last anti-haul, my hair was up, so maybe that'll be a thing. Who knows? I'm drinking out of a Presidents of the United States mug because we currently don't have one, in case you hadn't noticed. I mean, technically we do, but he's not my president. Anyway. That is the tea plus rum. All right. Okay. Now, I have a handful of products that I got suggestions from y'all, and I'm gonna start with those. A lot of them were the same ones that I was planning on talking about anyway, so I was like, cool, awesome, you guys are on the same wavelength as me. Sweet. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is this Lime Crime Venus XL palette. XL2. Sorry. This is fucking boring. I do not have like a personal problem with Lime Crime very much. It's like, I don't hate Lime Crime, but I'm also not like a fan of Lime Crime. Like, I'm apathetic to the brand. This palette is so bland. It is basically the same color story from the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette that came out like, I don't know, 2 years ago, but like with the saturation turned down by like 30% because it is very boring. It is very bland. It is very desaturated. It's every palette that we've already had plus like a couple of greens. So like, I don't need it. You don't need it. I have these colors. You probably have these colors. And if you don't have these colors, please look into your collection and make sure you don't have these colors. Maybe go into a store and swatch it and see if you really like it. But like, I don't need this. I feel like Lime Crime should stick to the smaller palettes because I feel like their larger ones just get so jumbled and like repeats of colors and colors that really don't need to be there. And like, they started out doing like the Venus palettes that were small, that were the 8-pan palettes. We need more of those. I don't need another large palette. I'm sick of large palettes. So can we go back to the ones that aren't extra large? Can we just go back to the normal size ones? And the annoying thing, the especially annoying thing, is that the outer packaging is so vibrant and beautiful, and then when you open it up, you're like, oh, this looks like it sat out in the sun for like 2 years. Cool. So bland. It is so boring. And apparently a lot of y'all felt the same way. They were like, please talk about this. And I'm like, all right, okay, well, calm down. Next thing we're going to talk about is this Wet n Wild Jelly Primer Jelly Highlight. Basically spit jizz. I didn't need it when it was like a $40 product from Farsali, and I don't need it when it's like a $4 product from Wet n Wild. I'm just saying, just because it's cheap doesn't mean I need it. I don't get the gimmick of having like a liquid highlight with like gelatin stuff in it, like a carrageenan seaweed thing. That's usually what they're using. They're either using gelatin or they're using carrageenan, which carrageenan, good ingredient, not saying it's bad, but they don't need it in a face highlight because like, why? It just feels like it's gonna be a weird thing to apply. Wet n Wild, you have good products. Like, you have good products. Your brand is good for the drugstore. I'm literally wearing Mochalicious on my lips right now. Like, I love Wet n Wild, but like, this just ain't it. This is not it. Oh God, why? Wet n why? Old. The next thing we're going to talk about is this Colourpop and I Love Sarah E collection, which I think is what, their like 12th collection or something. I don't fucking know. I don't watch her. I don't really know who she is. I am bored with Colourpop's collections right now. They keep coming out with the same palette over and over again, and they keep collaborating with the same people, and it's just so overdone and boring. It's like, objectively, the palette is pretty, but we've seen it before from Colourpop multiple times. So like, why do they keep coming out with like new things that's the same thing? So like, you don't need it because you already have it. If this is your first time seeing Colourpop and I Love Sarah E, then by all means, but like, it's probably not. They've collaborated with her multiple times. Like, I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it. And even though that it's cheap, I don't need it. Like, it's inexpensive. Colourpop is inexpensive and the quality is good, but that doesn't mean I need more clutter in my house. Just saying. Don't need it, not gonna buy it. The next thing I thought was fake when I first saw it because it is so terrible. Where did BH Cosmetics get off with this Capricorn palette. I'm sorry, Capricorns. I'm sorry to all of you out there. I don't know much about the sign in general. I know my boyfriend's a Capricorn, so I mean, like, he's not into astrology. The zodiac palettes that BH came out with were good. I wanted one of them. I wanted to buy it, but they didn't have it at the store that I went to, and I didn't want to buy it online without swatching it. So their first, like, foray into, like, the, like, individual zodiac signs was this. It's not even, like, just a neutral palette. It's just browns. Who needs this? Who asked for this? Not every Capricorn, I know that much. What the fuck? This is like BH. The other palettes were good. You can make a good palette. This is not that though. And even the outer packaging is just ugly. Like it's just ugly. Besides the fact that it's a boring, the most boring color palette, it's just not attractive. Like, it's just an ugly palette. It's just a waste of time and a waste of space. Like, I don't understand. The next thing I'm not gonna buy is this, like, Becca and Khloe Kardashian BFF bullshit. I don't know. I don't care about the Kardashians. I never really did. I don't like any of them. I don't give a shit about their life. I really have never been invested in their careers or lives. And this new, like, thing that brands are doing where they're collaborating with celebrities and their best friends, I don't understand that gimmick. Like that's a new one that I've never heard of before. Like maybe Kylie did it with her friend and then they did it with Khloe and Becca. It doesn't make any sense. And also this palette is like maybe a decent palette. Like it's maybe a decent face palette, but like I don't need it because the Kardashians are attached to it. If you need a cheek palette, get a cheek palette, but don't get it because it's got Khloe Kardashian's name on it and her best friend, who I don't know who she is. That's the thing. I've seen so many people do collaborations this year that I'm like, who the fuck is this person? Like, like, am I just not aware of celebrities anymore? I don't know. Like Colourpop did some weird collection with like heiresses to like a hotel, but like not Paris Hilton. I'm like, that is a collab that I would be here for because that is my teenage years come back to life. So if a brand wants to collaborate with like an heiress to a hotel, fucking Paris Hilton, okay? My generation would eat that shit up, just saying. But not this Khloe Kardashian thing. It's just boring and useless and I don't need it. And I'm not gonna buy it. The next thing really frustrates me to like my core. I will probably get decently heated during this segment. This brand, I do care. I've seen a ton of ads for this brand on Facebook. I've seen them inside Ulta. I've seen them on Instagram. They are the gimmickiest, the most gimmicky skincare brand I have seen besides Glam Glow, because all of their marketing videos, all of the videos they use of influencers, of YouTubers are all filtered to fuck. Not only are the masks like shiny and like holographic, but like they use skin smoothing filters on face mask reviews. What? Why? That doesn't sound good. That sounds shady as hell. I don't trust this brand farther than I can throw it, and it annoys the hell out of me. I've commented on them multiple times saying like, you use filters on this. People are like, oh my god, her skin looks so beautiful. Yeah, no shit. Because it's got filters on it. But I saw something on TrendMood yesterday. It's a ice cream face mask collection. They have Cake My Day, Berry Groovy, and Matcha Mood. Mini Scoops set. This is a gimmick if I've ever heard one. They all have most likely coloring in them. The Cake My Day one has like sprinkles in it or something, or like colored exfoliating beads. I don't understand. And they probably smell like food. I don't need a face mask that smells like birthday cake. If I wanted my face to smell like birthday cake, I would use a birthday cake lip gloss, and that's it. I don't need a face mask that smells like cake. That's weird. And I don't need that in my skincare. Just saying. On their Instagram page, it says like, skincare that's all about hashtag no filter. But is it though? Because you use filters on all of your videos. Please stop putting filters on skincare videos, thanks. Makeup, I don't give a fuck. But like, when it's skincare, like, don't fool us. Thanks. I don't need it. I'm never gonna buy it from this brand. Next, we have this like $60 brow set from Benefit and Desi Perkins. Benefit hasn't done anything new in like 3 years. They did like the Bad Gal Bang mascara where they like sent influencers to like some exotic place, and yet they can't come up with any new ideas except like space mascara. Like, they keep recycling the same old ideas. They keep re-releasing the same powders, but in like palettes now. And they have this set of brow things that are apparently Desi Perkins favorites, which are probably not, for $60. And I ain't gonna buy it. Cause like, A, I have my own brow products that I like, and B, like, the people they're marketing to are probably people that already have at least one of these products, or two. So you don't need to buy it just because it has Desi Perkins slapped on it. Is it really her favorites? Is it new? Is it different? Benefit has done nothing new. Like, they used to be one of the top brands. Like, I remember back when I first started getting into makeup, like, ooh, Benefit was like one of the big ones. Like, they had like the skincare that was cool, and like the blushes, like the box blushes were all the rage. When the fuck did we hear from Benefit last? This is what they're doing with their time? Come on, Benefit. Like, you had all that money to send all those influencers God knows where to launch a fucking mascara. Why don't you use some of that money and like come up with original ideas? Okay, cool. That are like not just like space mascara. The next thing is another thing that gets me kind of annoyed. It is subscription boxes for makeup. General like mystery box type things. This doesn't specifically have to do with the whole like Jake Paul and Rice Gum issue. That makes it even worse. But this whole unboxing culture that has exploded over the last few years is 100% consumerism at its finest, because all you're doing is spending money that you may or may not have on something that you do not know what you're getting. Like it's a mystery. Why do I want to spend my money on a mystery? I don't know. I don't think that's a good message to send to children. There's all these huge kids channels where it's like unboxing channels. It's like, oh, so you're just getting kids to want more toys. Cool. Beauty subscription boxes, just boxes that you get, that you pay, that you don't know what you're getting until you get it, is never anything that I want to do again. I had Birchbox for like a really short amount of time several years ago, and I'm never gonna do it because it's like, I buy the things that I want when I want them, and I don't see the point in like spending upwards of $20 to $30 a month on shit I don't want. I don't know, even ones that are really cheap, it's like you're still getting clutter and still getting things that you're not gonna use. Most of the time when I had my box subscription, there was a bunch of perfumes and like small sizes of skincare that I wasn't gonna use. I've seen some videos from people this year where they talked about their least favorite products, and like a handful of things came out of BoxyCharm. So it's like, why would I spend my money on a subscription service where like, I don't know what I'm getting, and B, usually the stuff that people are getting, especially the ones that are like collaborations with brands, not all that good. Like the Pure and BoxyCharm palette, trash, I heard from multiple people. So they don't actually have to make it good. That's the thing with those collaborations and those like specific releases with those subscription services. They're gonna give it to you anyway. They don't need you to buy it. They're giving it to you, so it doesn't need to be good. It's all a gimmick to get people to want more, to buy more. You're never going to be satisfied unless you have new things every single month. I'm not going on like a low buy or a no buy because I feel like when I put like restrictions on myself, it gives me anxiety and I backfire. So I'm not doing that, but like, I don't know. I don't need to spend my money on a box of things that I may or may not like. I don't like the mystery. I don't like spending my money on mysteries. Unless it's a mystery movie or a mystery novel, don't need it, not gonna buy it. Food and stuff like that, I don't have an issue with subscription boxes because a lot of times you'll get things for cheaper than you would get it in a grocery store. I'm all for that. Makeup and like other kind of skincare beauty boxes, not about that.
Let's spend money on things that we may or may not actually give a shit about.
I want to spend my money on things that I actually want.
Isn't that a new concept?
When I asked people what they wanted me to talk about, I had a handful of people say like the James Charles and Morphe palette, and I was like, I talked about that in literally my last anti-haul, but it was 2 months ago, so like fair, but like I talked about it in my last one. So like if you really need to know why you don't need it, go watch my last video. Oh, okay. Next thing we're gonna talk about is this Morphe Foundation. Now, I've watched a handful of reviews about it. I've watched a bunch of posts on Instagram. I've seen all kinds of people talk about it. And while I respect their effort in coming out with 60 shades. From what I've seen, the undertones are a bit whack. People have been having an issue finding their undertone. When there's 60 shades, there shouldn't be a problem. Like, a lot of their like cool tones are very gray, so there's a lot of ashiness. When I looked at the swatches, specifically on Nicole Consillo, actually, she posted swatches on Instagram on her hand, and she had staining from the deep shades on her hands, which is a huge red flag. And when she put the product on her hand, and when I've seen people like swatch it, it looks like paint. Like, it is so thick, it is so dry, it is so matte. I say if you like a matte coverage, if you like a matte foundation with like a full coverage, like a full-on Instagram makeup type look, which I guess is Morphe's thing, swatch some shades, see if you like it. They're like $18, so they're not super expensive. If you're gonna come out with like this sickening foundation and powder and concealer release, get everything right. I feel like they've made so many missteps, but with how many resources they have, it's just like, why are they doing this? Like, I don't need this foundation, specifically because I don't trust the brand. The brand is shady to me. The formula looks like nothing that I would get on with. It looks dry, it looks cakey, it looks like something that would just crust up on my skin. My skin would not love, and I've heard that there's a scent to it, which again, not something that I want in my foundation. It's just not something that I need, and it's not something that I want at all. And if you're somebody who has a oily skin type, I say this might work for you as far as a formula goes. So like, go and try it out, see if you find like the perfect like match in terms of skin tone. I'm not somebody who just goes and buys foundation when there's a new foundation release. I don't think that that's necessarily something we need to keep doing, because it's like, if you have like 2 foundations that you like, one that you wear for certain occasions, one that you wear for like maybe 3, you don't need more than 3 foundations at one time. Why do people need like a gajillion foundations? I don't understand that mindset. That's not my mindset, and I don't need this foundation, and I'm not gonna buy it. Or the concealer, or the powder, or any of it, because the undertones look weird. The last thing we're gonna talk about, the last thing got me real fucked up. This was another thing where I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, is this a joke?
Is this real life?
Urban Decay. We know that Urban Decay recently discontinued the Naked original palette, Naked 1, and they made a whole fuss of it. They made a whole thing, like a fucking funeral for the Naked 1, and it's like, really, Urban Decay, I know you're extra, but come on. They came up with the Naked Cherry since then, and it's pretty, but it's nothing new. Like, yeah, not something that I need. But this recently released Naked palette, Naked Reloaded,
stop it,
is legit a desaturated, boring ass copy of Anastasia Beverly Hills sultry palette with a touch of soft glam. It is sultry, but like a little bit more warm. But it's so similar to that palette, but like not as good of a formula, and the colors are not as vibrant. So it's just like, it's like they missed the mark like by months. They missed it so far. Like they fucking, it was like ABH hit the bullseye, and like Urban Decay threw the dart over the board, and it was just so, like, I feel bad. Like I honestly, I feel bad. Like, you know, in Bring It On, when everybody had the same routine from Sparky Pilastri, and like one squad did it, and then they're like, holy shit, we have the same routine, and then they go and do it, and everybody's like, what is this? What? We just saw this. That's literally the reaction to the Naked Reloaded palette. Like, if you're gonna like reload Naked, which like, why do we have to do that? Who knows? Take something that was maybe similar to the first palette that had those really rich kind of goldy tones, and like goldy smoky tones. Make something more vibrant from it. Make something different that has that similar kind of feel or theme, but not this. Like, this is not what they should be doing to reload the Naked brand, because like they just came out with Cherry, so like I don't understand why this is reloaded from Anastasia sultry palette. That's what it is. Like, it's literally the same palette, but worse. Sorry, Urban Decay, like Born to Run was a good release this year, but like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I saw that, I was absolutely baffled. Nope. So, I think that's everything. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about today. There's a lot of things. Some new brands to shit on, some new things to talk about. I left Too Faced out completely. Is this the first where Abby hasn't talked about Too Faced in an anti-haul? Who knows? It might be a first. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave me suggestions in the comments below for another anti-haul. I probably will do another one in like a month's time because I still love doing these and I'm not gonna stop. Thank you so much for all the positive feedback on these anti-hauls. It has made my year so much better because this is kind of what blew my channel up initially. So thanks to everybody who continuously watches these and continuously asks for them, even the day after I post an anti-haul. Today's song of the day is Fully Clothed, Slightly Concussed from Actionesse. Why? Because I'm editing their episode of Band in Seattle and they're friends of mine, and it's loud and angry, and it's how I've been feeling lately. Maybe not slightly concussed, but just like tired, but fully clothed most of the time. So, you know, if you like loud, thrashy, post-horncore, because that's a genre that they may or may not have made up, I have no idea. Check them out. They're good dudes. They're playing some shows coming up, so I will leave a link to their stuff in the description below. Links to everything on my face will also be in the description below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks to my patrons. You're great. You're amazing. I love ya. I hope you come back and see me in my next video. That's not how I end my videos. Thanks for watching, y'all, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye! This is a weird video.